Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharini Paratmanamekam Jagadbijamadyam Niriham Nirakaram Onkaravedyam Yato Jayate Palyate Yena Vishvam Tamisham Bhaje Liyate Yatra Vishvam. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. All the assembled students, first of all, it's a very important day today, 12th January, the day when Swami Vivekananda was born as per the English calendar. And this day is nowadays celebrated as the National Youth Day. And its significance cannot be exaggerated. Limitless significance. Significance for India, significance for the entire human race. I came with certain points in my mind. I thought I'll be speaking about this. But just now, what we saw and heard from our boys of study circle, Advaita Ashrama study circle, I feel that I should be talking about something else. Though I came with some certain fixed points in my mind. First of all, let me congratulate our boys for the wonderful presentation that they have given us. Let us all give a big round of applause to them. And you all will be very surprised to know that. See, we have been holding this National Youth Day celebration every year. But if you ask me personally, over the years, the different celebrations which we have seen, this year's celebration, I would say this was the best. See the smile on their faces. And there is a reason for that. Let me tell you. Every year, it is we sadhus who would organize the whole thing, and our boys used to do as dictated and guided by the sadhus. This year, the whole thing has been reversed. For your information, what you saw today, in this we sadhus have not been involved at all. This entire presentation which all of you have seen and enjoyed, and you have been inspired by it, everything was done totally independently by our boys. What a wonderful accomplishment it is. Beautiful presentation. I congratulate all of you, my dear children. Wonderful presentation. Some of the talks were electrifying. Literally, it pierced the heart. It was so touching. Exactly conveying the fire and spirit of Swami Vivekananda. And in this whole program, what I was seeing was, you see, this teamwork, what an amazing thing it is. Swamiji, when I was seeing the whole presentation, and everything was done by our boys independently. We have been just standing behind, just to give some inputs from a distance. Everything was done by our boys. And how wonderfully they worked as a team. You know, this teamwork is the secret of success for India. Swami Vivekananda spoke about it 125 years ago. Now see, going back into Swami Vivekananda's time, we all know, during Swami Vivekananda's time, what was the India which he had seen? India in the last decade of the 19th century, what was its condition? We all know that. The richest country in the world had come to a state where it had become one of the poorest countries. Let me go back to that incident. After Sri Ramakrishna's Mahasamadhi, Sri Ramakrishna's foremost disciple, this great Yugacharya Swami Vivekananda, whose advent is marked as the beginning of a new epoch. 500 years later, the history will know that Swami Vivekananda's advent was the beginning of a new era. It will be known after some centuries. Today, it is still not recognized. It is not just a talk coming out of sentiment, but it's a fact. It was the birth of this great teacher which marks the beginning of a new world order for several reasons. This is a special manifestation of divinity. It's not an ordinary manifestation. From time to time, such great manifestations do come when the society degenerates, to take the society back to its highest glory. So, coming back to that point, after Sri Ramakrishna's passing away, we find then Narendranath going throughout the length and breadth of this country on foot. We all know that wonderful chapter. Swami Vivekananda travels from this Bengal. He goes towards the northern part of India, Rajasthan, Rajputana at that time, coming down to Kathiawad, present-day Gujarat, coming down to the central province, present-day Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. And in this way, he comes down to South India. And he comes down to that southernmost tip of the Indian subcontinent. And there, we all know that wonderful incident. For 3 nights and 3 days, he sat on that rock, which is today known as Vivekananda Rock. And what did Swamiji do for 3 days and 3 nights? So it gives me a thrill throughout my body when I think about that incident, because see, Swami Vivekananda was a born sannyasi, a born monk. And what does a monk do? A monk in our great tradition, our great Indian tradition, in our great India spiritual tradition, a monk's only object of meditation is Brahman and Brahman alone, nothing else. But here was an unusual sannyasi. What should I say? Words fail to describe this amazing personality called Vivekananda. That is what makes Vivekananda Vivekananda. Here is the most unusual sannyasi for 3 days and 3 nights, sitting on that rock. What was he meditating upon? He was meditating upon his motherland, Bharat. Just imagine geographically sitting on the southernmost tip of that, on that rock, as if he's looking towards the north of India, as if he's seeing the Himalayas, the shining, glorious, sparkling peaks of the Himalayas. and he's seeing the entire mass of this land spread before him. And he's looking at his past. And looking at its past, his bosom swells with sense of pride. He feels proud thinking about what this great land called Bharat was. What an amazing land it was, the one and one only on this planet. What he says about it, something is wonderful. Looking into the past, he says he sees this glorious Bharat, what it has not done to the human race. He says that if there is one country to which the whole world is indebted, it is great, our Matrabhumi, it is Bharat and Bharat alone. Why? This is the one land from where everything has proceeded and flooded the entire planet. This is the one land. Swamiji says this is the cradle of human civilization and culture. You know the meaning of cradle? It is from here that everything has proceeded. You take physical science, you take medical science, you take astronomy, you take physics, you take mathematics, you name it, anything. Everything had its birthplace as this great land, Bharat. And this is not simply an exuberant emotional expression. We have facts, recorded facts in this regard. So looking into the past, Swamiji sees what a glorious land it has been. Wherever there has been civilizations in the other parts of the world, Swamiji says it has gone from here. All the different philosophies that we find in the different parts of the world, it is just a distant echo of the great philosophy of the Vedas. All the religions past, born in the so-called Middle East and different parts of the world, they are all distant echoes of this great mother of all religions called Sanatana Dharma, Hindu Dharma. Swamiji looks into the past and he sees what a glorious land it was. A land which was really prosperous, not only in economic sense, but in spiritual sense, in the sense of philosophy and ideology. Everything has gone from this place. Swamiji's words. Then looking at the past, and then he looks at the present state. Present means the time in which Swami Vivekananda was living. And tears begin to flow from his eyes. That painful sight of seeing 30 crore half-naked men and women, our own brothers and sisters. Swamiji had walked throughout the length and breadth of this land, and he had seen his own brothers and sisters languishing, literally wallowing in abject poverty. And his heart would literally break, shedding tears. And that desperation, see, that is what is Vivekananda, my dear youngsters. Remember, this is the spirit which you have to get from Swami Vivekananda. That desperation, that passion, what shall I do for my motherland? My motherland, my mother is shackled. How am I going to free her? Can you see your mother shackled? Will you be able to see your mother in chains? Vivekananda was seeing this great Mahabharati in chains, ruled by the so-called foreigners, English, and drowned in abject poverty, ignorance, superstition. Where has the glory vanished? Swami Vivekananda was literally desperate to do something for our motherland. Now, if this was the so-called, in a way, we shall say, a very kind of a depressing kind of a picture of the 19th century, Swami Vivekananda was also seeing the future. That's the Rishi. He is a Krantadarshi. Krantadarshi means one who can see all the 3 points of time: the past, the present, and the future. Vivekananda saw the past. He was full of pride. He was seeing the present, full of sadness and melancholy, and what should I say? A state of depression. But he was also looking into the future, and he was seeing what is waiting to come in the coming centuries. What is waiting to come in the coming centuries? Vivekananda was seeing that He was seeing that in the last decade of the 19th century. Can you imagine that? Not a single soul at that time in India could visualize this. There were great reformers. Reformers in Bengal, reformers in Punjab, reformers in Maharashtra, and none of them could see what is waiting to come in the future. 125 years back, this great soul had remarked what is going to happen in future. And he had said that, I am seeing this motherland is rising to her feet. None can resist her. No outward power can hold her back anymore, and never again is she going to sleep anymore. For I am seeing this motherland is rising on her feet, and the glory which India is going to attain in the future, it is going to be so glorious that all the past attainments will pale into insignificance. These are Vivekananda's electrifying and prophetic vision about what was in the womb of future in the last decade of 19th century. Swamiji was saying that India is going to be so glorious in the coming centuries that all the so-called past great attainments will pale into insignificance. Can you imagine this picture? India has been the glorious land in the past. If such was the glory, now what is going to happen in the future? Because he is seeing that the future attainment is going to pale. It will be so glorious that the past glory will pale into insignificance. And this is just the starting of the movie now. Here today in the 21st century, in the third decade of the 21st century, already we are seeing the signs of that. India today is the fifth largest economy in the world. How did it happen? A country which was wallowing in abject poverty, we didn't have food to eat. Even in 1947, that was our condition. We were importing wheat and rice and eatables from the West. In 1947, when India became free from the British rule, this was a condition. Just imagine. From that condition, today, India is the exporter of food to so many poor countries. Can you imagine? Now, I don't want to just give you a list of the great attainments of India in the last 75 years. Whatever it is, we are marching ahead, and this march cannot be stopped. Today's India is unstoppable. No power can stop her back. This was Vivekananda's vision, and this is just the beginning. Now, great things are waiting to happen, my dear children. And you are all going to be part of this onward march of this great motherland of India. It is going to happen. If you participate in this onward march, you are going to be blessed. So don't miss the bus. That is my one thing which I want to tell. See to it that your life falls in line or aligns with India's future destiny. You will be making your life blessed and glorious. In whatever way we can contribute to the glory of India, that is the one way to make your life blessed. Now I'm connecting this with what I saw here. This wonderful presentation by our boys. What did I see here? That team spirit. 125 years back. See, I came with all these points. I feel this is totally meaningless now. 125 years back, Swamiji had seen that, see, if India has to rise, the secret of India's future rise lies in 3 points. In very unmistakable language, Swamiji had stated that if India has to rise, that rise is going to happen owing to 3 things. He had stated it will happen by, number 1, organization. Number 2, coordination of wills. And number 3, by accumulation of power. Amazing 3 points which Swami Vivekananda was it's a prescription to the disease which we were suffering 125 years back, and we are still suffering from that disease, my dear boys and girls. Remember that. We have not overcome that disease completely. We are still not fully organized. In organization lies the power. What a beautiful point. Organization means what? Coming together and working as one. Coordination of wills, Swamiji says, coordination of wills. What is an important point it is? Presently, even in Swamiji's time, Swamiji had seen that India is totally broken into so many small segments. And as long as we are broken into small segments and compartments, remember, we will be vulnerable to the so-called external rule that is going to happen. If we really want to become independent, we have to first overcome this disease of being disorganized. We have to be one. Organization is a secret. And that is what I was seeing here. Our boys performing so well organized. I was seeing so beautiful presentation, all of you working together, and look what a successful event you could bring about. The secret lies in organization. Second point, coordination of wills. Just imagine, my dear boys, today 140 crore people. We are 140 crore. Can you imagine? We are the second largest society in the world. 140 crore people. What a power if we are united. No one will be able to even think of bringing about some evil or damage to our society if we stand united. In unity is strength. In organization is strength. When our wills are coordinated, presently what is our condition? Swamiji speaks about our India's condition 125 years back. He says, during Swamiji's time, the population was 30 crore. Today we are 140 crore. In the last decade of the 19th century, India's population was 30 crore. And Swamiji was saying that we are 30 crore people working in 30 crore different directions. Everybody has got a will working in different direction. There is no coordination. There is no common goal. That common goal-oriented kind of a work was totally absent. We need a common goal-oriented kind of a work to be done. Our wills have to be coordinated. Just imagine if 140 crore people, their wills, if that becomes unified, and if this unified will and the power coming out of that, if it is channelized in the right direction, that is how we are going to be the powerful, most powerful nation in the world. None can stop this from happening, and it is happening, and it is going to happen. None can stop it. Only we can expedite this whole process if we consciously begin to work in that direction. That is the only thing we have to do. So, second point is coordination of wills. That is what I was seeing here. When I was seeing this whole program, this is what came to my mind. I was seeing this organized kind of a work. Everybody's will coordinated and directed towards a common goal of bringing about a wonderful presentation. And see, you were seeing success. I was seeing a beautiful, successful program here. If you all had worked in a disorganized manner, this program would not have been so beautiful. It became so beautiful and successful because of organization, because of the coordination of your wills, and that generated power. The third point is accumulation of power. So this was the prescription which Vivekananda had given 125 years back to the disease or the ailment which India was suffering from. India was suffering from the disease of disorganization, because of which we were vulnerable to all foreign kinds of influences and rule. Even today, that disease is there. That's why somebody pointed out. We may be speaking different languages, my dear children. Remember, we are Indians. We are Aryaputras. We are children of the same rishis. That is our ancestry. And we have to have tremendous pride in our ancestry, knowing whose children we are, whose blood is coursing in our veins. We are the children of rishis. And great has been the legacy of this land. Great has been the legacy of your father, your forefather. Go back. You will see what our forefathers have done to this entire human race. Nowhere on the planet, any society, any race has got this kind of a legacy which we have. Let us be proud about that one thing. Swami Vivekananda was literally the very embodiment of that Bharatiya Garva, that proud Indian and a proud Hindu. Two things. He was the condensed India, and he was the very embodiment of what Hindu Dharma stands for. It is this Hindu Dharma, the Vaidika Dharma, which is going to so-called save the world. No other. No other means literally no other. It may sound to be a little fanatic, but it's a fact. There are several reasons about it. I'm not going into the details of that because that will deviate my subject. So anyway, coming back to this wonderful presentation which we saw, given by our boys, I was seeing Swami Vivekananda's those three ideas literally getting demonstrated. If in a small group of say 20, 30 boys, when they are organized, when your wills are coordinated, and when your power is accumulated, you just see the success immediately. Immediate is the success. Now just apply it on the national level. Apply it on the state level. If every state begins to work in this manner, in an organized manner, with a goal-oriented kind of an activity, if every state begins to work for a common purpose, every state in India will become a prosperous state. Why we are not succeeding? We are still fighting political fights, party fights, petty fights for all personal selfish interest. If any state for that matter, whether it is Bengal or Maharashtra or Gujarat, we are all Indians. If we stand united as Indians, you just see what cannot be accomplished. Success will be at our feet without much delay. It is going to happen. So this is the one big disease which Swami Vivekananda had as a doctor of India. He was literally a doctor of India, the doctor of humanity itself. The Rishi, he knows where lies the ailment. And he had given the prescription. Prescription lies in understanding the soul of India, that we are all one people. And if 140 crore people stand united, just imagine, tell me, who can stop us from becoming the world leaders? In spite of all disorganized kind of a thing, still today we have come to the point where we are the fifth largest economy in the world. Can you imagine that? In spite of so many compartments. So what will happen if we become fully united? So my dear children, the first and the foremost thing which we have to learn from Swami Vivekananda is this. No matter which language you speak, whether it is Bengali or Marathi or Gujarati or Punjabi or Hindi or Tamil or Malayalam, Mizoram, anything, we are Indians. We are one people. I always say, we have to work towards integrating India. Always remember, any force which is trying to break down India, be careful about it. Any evil force which is trying to dismantle India, they are our enemies and we have to fight against it. So we have to fight towards the unification of India. For that, a wonderful prescription. One of the big, the stumbling block in India's progress today is what, this language barrier. We don't want to appreciate the other languages. I always tell, every South Indian should learn at least one North Indian language, and every North Indian should learn at least one South Indian language and break the barrier. Why can't we learn? I often see children, parents coming and tell, oh, my son is in class 8 and in our school we have English, it's an English medium school, Hindi is there as one language, and the third language he has taken French. Why? We don't have any other Indian language to learn. You learn French, you learn Germany. Instead of that, you learn some language of Indian languages that will integrate this country. Every North Indian should learn one South Indian language, and every South Indian should learn one North Indian language. That is how we should break this barrier between North and South and this and that. We are one people, one country. And we should remember one thing. All languages belong to our language. Every language is my language. There is nothing called superiority and inferiority here. We have to break all these wrong notions, which, if it is working, we have to simply shatter it down. Every language is sacred. All languages are born out of that great Deva Bhasha called Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the mother of all the languages that we have in India. So let us respect, let us consider all languages as our language. So this is the one way by which we should be bringing about and integration of this great nation, which Swami Vivekananda had. This was the prescription which Vivekananda had given. So, remember these 3 points, especially my young boys. Point number 1, organization. Point number 2, accumulation of will. Point number 3, coordination of will. Coordination of will. And point number 3 is accumulation of power. Repeat with me. Point number 1, organization. Point number 2, coordination of wills. Point number 3, accumulation of power. This is the secret of making a great India in the future. No matter which language you speak, no matter which religion you follow, we are Indians. We are Bharatiyas. Please remember this point. And India is existing for one mission. Please keep it in mind. India has got a very distinctive mission which India alone can accomplish. Please try to understand that point. And what is that? The mission of India is one and one alone. To give to the entire world that message of divinity and divinity alone. Swami Vivekananda came for that. And that is the idea of Hindu Sanatana Dharma. Hindu Sanatana Dharma in India, they are inseparable. Please note it down. There is no India without Hindu Sanatana Dharma. Hindu Sanatana Dharma is the very soul of this land. Swamiji says, if this dharma goes away, within 3 generations, India will be dead and gone. So, we should understand. And what is the speciality of this Hindu Sanatana Dharma? This is that dharma which tells every human being that, my dear children, you are divine. Everybody is divine. This message of inherent divinity. And Swamiji says that my idea can be put into a few words. My idea can be put into a few words. That is, preach unto humanity that divinity and how to make it manifest in every movement of life. Vivekananda says this. He was born to do this. His only purpose was to spread this grace message of Hindu Sanatana Dharma all over the world. This is the relevance, significance, and the mission of Hinduism and India. And this can happen only through Hinduism and through India. Now see, we talk about organization and coordination of wills. Now this is not only limited to India. We have to carry this message beyond the boundaries of India. It is meant for the entire human race. Just like we Indians, we are not compartmentalized into small different states speaking different languages. Similarly, this world cannot remain broken into different races, different nations speaking different languages. The message of Vedas, the message of Hindu Dharma is one. What is that? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. You know that? The roaring message coming from the Vedas which says, Ayam nija parovaiti ganana laghuchetasam udara charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. What a thrilling message. It gives me goosebumps. Which religion speaks this language? Tell me. Which religion speaks this language? None except Hindu Dharma. Ayam nija parovaiti. This is my person. This person is not my person. This is not the vision of Hinduism. This is not the vision of India. Somebody is mine and somebody is not mine. Ayam nija parovaiti ganana laghuchetasam. This is the vision of petty-minded people. Laghuchetasam. Udara charitanam tu. But those who have udara charita, those who have that great vision, the vision of Mahatmas. What is that vision of Mahatmas? For Mahatmas, for udara charitanam, for the great people, the message is what? Vasudhaiva kutumbakam. This entire Vasudha, this entire planet, this entire globe is one family. So see, the mission of India is not only limited to India, it is meant for the entire humanity. And Swami Vivekananda's advent was meant for this great mission to unify the entire world, which is broken into so many small segments. Just look what is happening in Middle East. Look what is happening in Russia and Ukraine. Look what is happening in our neighboring countries. All these fights and bickerings. People are in darkness. From where is the light going to come? Tell me. Which religion gives us the light? The light of wisdom. The light of right vision. The Samyak Darshan. Which religion gives? And what is that right vision? The right vision is what our great Vedas have taught, which Swami Vivekananda puts in a very beautiful language. Just now somebody had spoken about it. Bahurupe sammukhe tumar chadiye kotha kojicho Ishwar. This divinity in so many forms, Ishvara sitting in so many forms, this is the vision of Hinduism, this is the vision of India, and this is what is going to unify the entire world. So this was the great mission with which this avatarana had taken place, and we are all part of this great mission. So let us understand the importance of Vivekananda's advent. It is meant for India, and through India, it is meant for the entire world. And this we shall be seeing in the coming centuries. It is going to happen. As Vivekananda had said, from now onwards, nobody can stop the onward march of this great motherland. And just imagine, I'm seeing this wonderful congregation here. I'm seeing how fortunate we are that we are born in this Matrabhumi. Can you feel it? How fortunate we are that we are the children of this land. We were not born in some other land. This is the Punya Bhumi. We have to make Sashtang Pranam to the soil. This is the Punya Bhumi. Every speck of dust is Punyam. Next month, from day after tomorrow, the great Kumbh Mela is going to take place. What a congregation it is. 45 crore people are going to assemble there in the next 1 month. Can you imagine? 45 crore means almost 1/3 of India's population is going to come at one spot, united by one thought system. They may be speaking different languages. All the people who are going to Kumbh, are they all speaking the one language? There may be Tamilians, Malayalis, Marathis, Gujaratis, Punjabis, Hindis, Bengalis, everybody, but united by one thought system. The thought system of the Vedas. This is what Vivekananda has been literally hammering repeatedly to make the Indians understand that we are one people, we are united by a common culture, the common culture of the Vedas. Let us not forget this point. We may be speaking different languages, but let us not remain compartmentalized in, I am a Bengali, I am a Marathi, I am this and I am that. We have to come out of this. This is a disease which India has been suffering. Somebody has pointed out this point. I love Bengal. I love Goa. I love Chandigarh. Everywhere we will find these boats in the airports, just after, as I mentioned this point before also. The moment you come out of Calcutta airport, you will see Balobhashi Bangla. We have to write Balobhashi Bharat. I love Chandigarh. If you come out of Chandigarh airport, you will find I love Chandigarh. I love Mumbai. I love India. That should be the one mantra which we should be holding on to. Everywhere there should be one holding, but that should be written in the local language. The Tamilians should write in Tamil language, I love Bharat. Marathis should write in Marathi language, I love Bharat. Bengalis should write in Bengali language, I love Bharat. This I love Bharat should be the one mantra, and this was the central message which Vivekananda came to give to the entire Indians. And that was the great purpose of this great soul. Anyway, I don't want to take much time. So once again, I congratulate all of you, my dear boys. The presentation was beautiful. And that's why I came with, my topic of discussion today, I came with the idea that I will discuss about how to build a good character, or the whole thing has gone into the bin. When I saw this wonderful performance, I was reminded of this Swami Vivekananda's this great message. This message of organization. See, when you are organized, what a wonderful outcome you can see out of organization. If 140 crore people, they become organized, that will be the so-called, the fruit of that will be visible to us without delay. In spite of being so disorganized, we are now today almost I should say, we are the 5th largest economy. And as far as the prediction goes, by the end of this decade, we are going to be the 3rd largest economy. Can you imagine? The 1947, the poorest, the beggar country, India, today is the 3rd. It is going to be the 3rd largest economy. And by 1947, it is predicted, with all definiteness, India will be at par with the most richest countries in the world. My dear children, you are all the instruments in the path of attainment of this great glory which is going to happen in the next few decades. You are all youngsters. Next 20, 25 years, you will be see. Perhaps we may not be there at that time to see that. But still, it gives a great sense of satisfaction to see that where India has reached. In my childhood, the India which I had seen, literally it was painful. So much of poverty. Today, India is no more poor in that sense. Just one more incident I'll tell you, which literally comes to my mind. Just last year, or last to last year, I had been to Malda for one function. In our Malda Ramakrishna mission, there was one function. And I was returning from that Malda. I was returning in train. And in the train, it was Shatabdi Express. So a lot of food was given to all the passengers. I also got a very rich food packet. And some food packet was also given to me from the ashram. So there was a lot of food. So, this was just something which happened 2 years back. So, my requirement was not that much. I just had a cup of tea and some little bit of snacks. So, a lot of food was left out. So, I thought when I will get down at Howrah station, I'll give away this food to any poor man on the way. When I see any poor man, I'll give this packet to them. Thinking that, I got down from the train. And from Howrah station, I started to look for some beggar to whom I could give this food packet. Mind you, my dear friends, from Howrah station, I was hunting for some poor man to whom I could give this food packet. I reached Advaita Ashram here. On the way, I could not find a single poor man to whom I could give this packet. This is a transformed India. Just 20 years back, you would see in the platforms any number of poor people lying there and begging for food. Today, this is a changed India. And I felt so happy that I could not give this food packet to anybody. Let that occasion never come where I would or we would need to give food to somebody. This is the transformed India. It is happening. The poverty is going away. It's going. Millions and millions of people have risen above the poverty. It is happening today. And very soon, India will be out of this curse of poverty. It is going to happen. This is what Vivekananda had prophesied 125 years back at a time when India was wallowing in poverty. At that time, Swamiji had seen that this is all going to go away. And we can see that today it's happening. It's a reality. And in the next 20 years, 2 decades, my dear youngsters, remember, great things are waiting to happen. May Swami Vivekananda give you that strength, that resolve, that determination to dedicate your life for the good of our country and for the good of the entire human race is my prayer. I wish you all the best and may God bless you all. Thank you so much.